Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. We're hitting the horn early, guys. What is going on, Clint Nation? Happy Modelo Tuesday, Taco Tuesday to you, wherever you may be. Sorry for taking a little bit to get in the stream. Sorry for starting a little late, but we are here and we're going to talk Dodgers baseball real quick for you today on this Tuesday. On today's show, we have the latest updates out of Camelback Ranch. Dave Roberts had some things to say. Shohei Ohtani update, Yoshinobu Yamamoto update, some Roki Sasaki talk, and Doc was a lot more candid when talking Dustin May and Bobby Miller today. So some thoughts on all of that and more on another quick hitter edition of All Dodgers Live. As you guys see on the screen right here, my name is Clint Pasillas. If you don't know who I am, I'm a longtime baseball writer, Dodgers talker. I talk here on my YouTube channel, All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas. Please consider giving this video a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. These are things that really help the channel grow. We passed 10,000 subscribers yesterday, and we are keeping on growing. You know, it's Dodgers season, it's spring training. We're here, we're excited, we're ready to talk about some baseball. So why don't we go ahead and jump on into it, because so far out of Camelback Ranch, things are trending well for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So far, so great is what I'm going to say out of Camelback Ranch, as Dave Roberts and company are happy, they're healthy, and Doc had some thoughts. Again, super positive out of Dave today. Have this this tweet I'll show here from my buddy Matt Moreno over at Dodger Blue. It's gonna be a Dodger Blue heavy kind of show today. So guys, make sure you follow Matt, follow everybody at Dodger Blue here on YouTube. They do a terrific job covering this team. But again, Doc super positive today, sharing his excitement for what he's seen out of this team in the first week of camp, because we have passed now the first full week of spring training. But it is worth noting, again here, Doc feeling good about Teoscar Hernandez, said he looks fantastic. Bobby Miller, he feels this, we're going to focus on this one a little bit, but feels he's on his way back to establishing himself, reestablishing himself as a big leaguer this spring. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto, where Dave said, and I quote, is really coming good. So we'll pause. Or coming really good. Sorry about that. I didn't even quote it right. But hey, let's get into the Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Roki timeline update. So, Yoshi gonna come. Yama gonna come. He is probably the furthest along of everybody. He got as of today, exactly 4 weeks until opening day, or opening morning for us, if you're watching in the States, in Japan, because it is a 3 a.m. start for us here on the West Coast. Again, Yamamoto appears to be the farthest along in camp, which is a good thing. He's already faced hitters in a live batting practice session last week. It was on Friday, through another bullpen side session this week. It's worth noting for me, just so I could throw it back out there into the ethos, I have Yoshi Yamamoto as my 2025 NL Cy Young Award winner. He seems hungry. He seems determined. He seems, as Dave said, he's further along and he's better than he was at this point last year in spring training, when he was making the transition from NPB, from Japanese Baseball League, the Japan Baseball League, to the States. So I feel real good. You know, I'm going to take that one to the bank, we'll say. That's going to remain my prediction, that Yoshi will be, you know, the man who wins the Cy Young Award. And if you guys are looking to do anything about that, let's say betting-wise, check out my friends Bet Online, because Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all things online betting here in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion, because they have the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. Bet Online continues to be that number one sports betting source here in 2025. Every three-pointer, every hat trick along the way. Bet Online has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. Bet Online, the game starts here. The show resumes now. So we talked Yamamoto again, feeling good about Yamamoto. Dodgers feeling good about Yama. People in the chat feeling good about Yamamoto. Matty Man 5 Dodge, I see you. Not feeling good about that early start for the Dodgers for that opening day, that Tokyo series, because it does. That is a sucky. We did the 3 a.m. series our opening day in Korea last year. That sucked a whole ton of butts, but it is what it is. This is the Dodgers bringing the great game of baseball around to the world, and this is what we have to deal with these days as fans. I keep saying I really hope one of these days, one of these years, the Dodgers get a regular spring training again. But it's not in the cards this year, so we got back-to-back 3 a.m. days for everybody. I see my guy OCJ in the chat saying he's what when we're talking about Yama gonna come, but that's just the situation there for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's look at the Roki Sasaki update here, because Dave Roberts saying that Sasaki will be facing hitters for the first time this spring tomorrow as Yamamoto's former teammate and now current teammate Sasaki continues to ramp up in his transition here to Major League Baseball. This is a huge next step for Roki, who is looking to potentially likely start one of those games, one of the 2 games in that Tokyo series against the Cubs. He is coming off of a good bullpen session. We talked about it a little bit yesterday on the channel. Coming off a good bullpen session after battling some nerves, according to Dave Roberts, battling some nerves in that first one he had, understandably. I mean, we're talking about a kid who had the entire baseball world watching him this offseason, wondering where is he going to go, what is he going to do. Ultimately signed with the Dodgers, depending on whose team you're rooting for. He had this deal in his back pocket. It was always the plan to come to the Dodgers. That's not the case, but yeah, Roki ramping up, getting ready, presumably on track to start or be at least in the mix for that second game of the regular season there, of that 2-game series abroad. But good stuff there. And the other good stuff, once again, Shohei Ohtani getting off the mound. Second bullpen session today. Here's some video from MLB.com's Sonia Chen of Shohei getting off the bump there on the left-hand side of your screen. There are some updates there, but let's talk about this bullpen session. 21 pitches in the bullpen today, all fastballs, according to Dave Roberts and other reports. Of course, I'm not there, and I ain't counting all of that. I'm sorry. But the other update, as well as Matt Moreno points out here, again, in a very Dodger blue heavy kind of show, Matt Moreno talking about on the hitting side, Dave Roberts mentioning that, don't expect to see Shohei in games early in camp. He's still recovering from that labrum surgery in his shoulder. Of course, separated that shoulder in the World Series against the Yankees in Game 2 against the Yankees. So to take a little bit of time to kind of get his feet and I guess his shoulders all the way under him heading into the season. But it seems like he's on track. Everything Shohei has said, he's on track to start at DH for the opening day, and there shouldn't be any hiccups when it comes to Shohei being ready for opening day. He's going to hit. Hopefully it doesn't affect his pop in any way. It shouldn't, because it is his back shoulder. He's a left-handed hitter. This is his lead shoulder. Injured this arm. Doesn't really, you don't throw the bat. You kind of pull the bat. If it was this arm, as we get into hitting physics here with FRG, if it was that arm, it'd be a whole different story. But thankfully, it's the best case scenario out of somebody who had to undergo surgery for that labrum a few months back. My bad, I forgot to get that chat back in there. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight on this quick hitter edition of All Dodgers. I see you in the chat there, Mattyman5 Dodge. Do not rush the show. I agree. Ella Sheva Jones. I hope fans don't forget that we have the amazing Blake Snell. Great segue there, because Blake Snell also alongside Tyler Glasnow for the Rays showing out for the Dodgers at Camelback Ranch today. But these are the final notes on the pitching side. Both of those guys threw to hitters today, putting them firmly on track to get into Cactus League, most likely get into Cactus League games this as early as this weekend. Sorry, I'm trying to getting ahead of myself here. I made it a goal for myself to make this a shorter stream. I want to be here for like 25 minutes. I don't want to have you guys waiting around with a bunch of filler, no gimmicks, no BS. We're just here to have some serious Dodger talk, and then we'll move on with our day. I'll note I'm joining my buddy Jeff Snyder, Jeff, if you're nasty, over on Locked On Dodgers this evening. So if you want more Dodgers talk with me and Jeff, check that out. 9 p.m. Pacific time, we will be live. One last thing to pin to the Snell Glasnow talk, it may be worth noting. Chris Taylor took Snell deep during live BP, so that's a thing, I guess. I don't know. Do with that, I guess, what you will. So I've said a lot of things here pretty quickly at the top of the show, as a lot of friends are hanging out with us in here. Our friend Mike Doom Sal saying, who was at Camelback Ranch, pointing out that Sasaki had thrown 2 bullpens when he was there. Of course, he was there for most of last week, or all of last week, and into the weekend. He talked to my buddy Tim Rogers over at Blue Experience, or Blue Madness, Dodgers 2080. He spoke with him, I think on Monday. They talked about his experience at Camelback Ranch. So go check out Tim's channel and his conversation with Mike, so you can hear more about what's going on Dodgers wise, or at least spring training wise. OCJ CT3 batting cage monster. Call that the 5 p.m. Player right there. As more friends are in the chat, Anthony Keene, our Lord Clutch Taylor returns. Dave had some thoughts about CT as well. I wasn't going to dive too much into those because my buddy, because we source who we talked about here on the All Dodgers podcast, and my buddy Doug McCain asked Dave today about Chris Taylor and kind of his role. I'll throw this in here. We'll probably potentially talk about it more on Locked On Dodgers later, but Doug had asked him straight up, like, what's Taylor's role going to be? He's been an important part of this team for years. Dave bluntly said, I don't know. I really don't know right now. And then kind of went into a sort of just word salad glazing of Chris Taylor. He's come up with big hits. He's been important for this team. He's done whatever we've asked of him. But right now, we've talked about this a whole bunch. There's not a clear path to playing time for Chris Taylor. And the team, I don't know that we can sit here and say that the team would be better without Chris Taylor, because I don't think that's accurate. I think they would be better with a good version of Chris Taylor, and I think they're going to, either way, good, bad, or in between, be stuck with Chris Taylor for one more year, or at least for 3 months of the season, bare minimum. That's my thought there. Matty Man 5 Dodgers. In other words, 1 at bat a week for Chris Taylor, and that's what we're talking about here, buddy. I tell you what, that's about fair. That's about fair. As our friend IB Strokin joins the chat, appreciate IB Strokin hyping the podcast, guys. If you can't watch this show live and you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you want to just hear it, the show is available in podcast form. Check it out. Apple, Spotify, all your podcast platforms. I tend to promote Apple and Spotify because those really help us out, help the show out in the algorithm. If you could rate and review the show, I promise you it helps me tons. It helps the Believe Network tons if you rate and review the show. But I also understand you guys like this. We like hanging out together, talking, having a conversation. So maybe the audio version isn't quite for you. But if you could check it out either way and just put it on loop, put it on your Amazon or your Microsoft Zune and have a good time. Aged myself there, gang. So again, all of this, I do want to dive into a couple of things Dave said there. We saw the little mention of Bobby Miller. We saw some Dustin May. I want to talk about the Bobby Miller part of the conversation. But first, I do have to tell you again, this is a show where we have some ads. We got to talk about things, and I want to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. That is right. It's the easiest place to play all your fantasy sports, and it's now proudly helping support us here at the All Dodgers podcast. If you want to make some picks like I do, if you want to make some picks on your favorite sports, Underdog Fantasy offers a unique approach to fantasy sports with a simple pick'em style format. So it's pretty dang easy. Even I was able to figure it out. I've said it. We're getting closer to the season. I'm looking forward to playing with fans here on the channel. Hopefully we can find a way to all work together and have some fun. looking at Dodgers games and all that, baseball stuff throughout the season. But anyways, here's how it works. Let me get to the point here. You go higher or lower. You pick higher or lower on between 2 or 8 players, and you can win up to 325 times your entry. On the screen there, it says 100x. No, on this show, with my promo code ALLDodgers, all one word, you get 325 times your entry. You got to use that promo code ALLDodgers. New users get a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash, which is just as good as money. There's still time as of now to get your regular season plays and predictions in before opening day. So check that out. I've said it. I'm going to be making mine soon. We're going to do it as a group together on the All Dodgers Discord. So if you want to check that out, join the Discord. Links and information are down in the description below. But I'll tell you, sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com today. Download the app or just click the link that is also in the description below. Use that promo code ALLDodgers. If you click the link, the promo code is just automatically in there. If you click the link either way and you don't sign up, it helps me out with the network or for the network. But if you use that promo code, you sign up, you get a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Again, links in the description. Thank you to Underdog. Thank you guys for hearing me out. And let's go ahead and get back into it. Let's focus a little bit here once again on Bobby Miller, and we've done that a good amount here already this this spring training, because Bobby Miller is going to be one of those dudes that elicits a lot of conversation. He elicits a lot of, what the hell are they going to do with this dude who didn't have himself a good follow-up season while dealing with injuries. Didn't have a good sophomore campaign in 2024. Had a shoulder thing, kind of lost his mechanics and all of that. So the question I have is, can Bobby Miller actually pitch his way to a spot in that stacked starting rotation with a good spring training? We're calling it Bobby Bounce Back. I know I had that tweet earlier with Jacob Brownson. Sorry, I got the name wrong. That's my bad, Jacob. But he does a great job covering Talking Dodgers, covering the Dodgers on Twitter. Do check him out. Even if I said it wrong, I apologize if I did. I forget. Listen, there's a lot of names out there in the world. But I had that conversation. Jacob did a great job also spotlighting, focusing on Bobby Miller and how he sees he could bounce back. So anyways, check that out. I'm not trying to promote this dude's stuff, but I still think it's good. But either way, Bobby bounce back. Like I said earlier today, Dave Roberts had a nice shout out for Bobby Miller. The quote was, Bobby is on the way back to reestablishing himself. Of course, Doc had more to say about Big Game Bob as we used to know him. So we're going to go ahead and hear from Dave about Bobby here, about Robert Miller, and then we'll come back and dissect it. And I'll share my thoughts on what Dave had to say. Actually, I don't want that up yet. But yeah, here we go. Here's Dave.
With Bobby, what does he have to show you to kind of show that he's hit the reset button?
Well, I think I want to see controlling of emotions. I want to see better execution of pitches. I want to see better sequencing and using his pitch mix the right way, which I think all those things weren't in sync last year. I do believe he's healthy with a lot of work on his part. And so I think if that's the case, good things are going to happen.
Once again, a shout out there to Dodger Blue. If you guys want to check out the full media scrum today with Dave Roberts, do check out the video on Dodger Blue's YouTube channel. They do great stuff over there. Friends of the channel, of course, as you know. But I've seen some people read into what Dave said today on social media as Man 5 Dodgers rooting for Bobby, and we all should be rooting for Bobby. We understand this team has a butt ton of talent, and having as much talent as they have only helps us out in the long run. But I'm seeing people reading into Dave praising Bobby Miller, and yeah, some ways, in a lot of ways, he is. To me, he's also issuing a challenge. He said he wants to see him control the emotions, better execution of the pitches, better sequencing, use the pitch mix. That's a lot of stuff Dave threw at Bobby Miller right there. And understanding, all of us understanding here together, that this isn't last year or 2 years ago, that edition of the starting rotation. This isn't Lance Lynn starting fucking games for the Dodgers in the postseason. This is a different animal now. Shohei will be healthy at some point. Roki's going to be in there, of course. Yamamoto, Glasnow, Blake effing Snell. They have a lot of talent. And we're not looking at a Bobby Miller that needed to start a game in the postseason for, the team to have any sort of hopes of moving on in the National League Division Series and all of that kind of stuff. So again, I think Dave is issuing a bit of a challenge here to Bobby Miller. Tighten it up. Tighten it the F up. Be healthy. Fix these problems, and maybe good things can happen this year. Worth noting, or worth adding, Bobby did speak with reporters yesterday, a few different people saying, he felt great after his bullpen, saying he's feeling better than he ever was at any spring training he's been to. Of course you're going to say that. Of course you're going to try to feel a certain way or give a certain sort of version of yourself to people. So maybe Dave Roberts, maybe the front office sees it and you're saying, hey, we're feeling good, I'm ready. Jay Farrell, I like that, the doc translation being grow up kid, and that's what he's trying to do. And I don't know, I don't know if you guys have watched a lot of the Bobby Miller interviews. Seems the same, seems kind of stoic, seems a little timid, even if he's saying he's confident. And yeah, he's saying he has the confidence. He's feeling good about where he's at this point in the spring, which is fine. That's what he should. He felt great after his first bullpen, feeling good, like I said. Feeling better than he ever has in a spring training, like he said. Working on the body, working on the mechanics, which got both out of whack last year. And he feels that he's primed for success. And the quote was, in a great spot to earn that final spot on the stacked, or in the stacked starting rotation. So let's talk about that. There's your question here. How can a big spring training change the plan for the team? Because I would say entering spring training, probably not really in the plans, not in the mix. It's one of those guys where you hope he works out and you kind of figure out where to piece him in, and that's a reality there. So to the question, how can a big spring training, or said a different way, can a big spring training change the plan for the team and Bobby Miller? Honestly, I don't think it can. Injuries can change the outlook for Bobby. He would need to both perform and have, the old Simpsons thing, 9 misfortunes. You guys know, softball episode. I don't need to get into that. Shout out to my boy, Eric Yulo. He would appreciate that. I say this again. I don't think a good spring training will help Bobby Miller find his way onto the roster. But I'll say this, meaning just out of spring training, like right out of spring training, I don't think that if he pitches well, but also everybody else is healthy, everybody else performs, he's not on that roster. That's my thinking of it. That's, I'm not saying that any particular Dodger person has told me this. Nobody in the know. This isn't sources. This is just me watching baseball and giving you an educated guess about how these things could work out. It's like, He's absolutely going to help this team out at some point in time this season. That much is for sure. Whether he's good or bad in spring training, I just doubt that he makes the team. Well, let me rephrase this. I think he could and likely will be on the opening day roster, at least for Japan, just for coverage, just for length, because he'll probably be built up to 4 or 5 innings by that point. So it doesn't hurt to have him out there. Maybe he starts one of the exhibition games again, like he did last year in Korea. Maybe he starts against Hanwha. Maybe he starts against Kiwoom or whoever they're playing. That Kiwoom is whoever they're playing, but regardless of that point, he's probably going to make that opening day roster as a bulk arm. But I think by the time this team gets to Dodger Stadium and the rest of the regular season, the fact that he has options, the fact that the Dodgers really need to see what they have in Dustin May will seal Bobby Miller's trip to AAA. any one of Glasnow, Snell, Yamamoto, Gonsolin, or Sasaki, if any of those dudes gets injured or they need to be held back for some reason, worth noting, we haven't seen Sasaki against big league hitters. We haven't seen we haven't seen Glasnow since August of last year. We haven't seen Gonsolin since pitching with an injured elbow in 2023. So there are definitely paths where he could make it on, but again, it's injuries. It's not if he pitches well that he would pitch his way into the picture, into the roster. But there are injuries. He's 100% going to be the first guy that gets a call. That's my thoughts. That's my opinions on that. Kevin Uhas, our friend Kevin Uhas with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Kevin. Says, I was upset with Bobby Miller last year when I heard him say he shook off Will Smith a handful of times. He needs to learn to be a pitcher and not a thrower. You know what's funny is, with that in mind, Bobby, when he made his debut, what was it, in Atlanta? Great game. I think it was 6 shutty or something like that against the Braves. Something. It was a very solid debut start. And one of the things he had told Kirsten, he told media, was I didn't shake off Will Smith once. I just went with the game plan, and now kind of reading Kevin Uhas's frustration there. If he's not able to get on the same page, and that goes back to what Dave Roberts said, the better execution of pitches, better sequencing in his throws, and better use of the pitch mix. That comes from this team and the game plan. That comes from Will Smith and his game planning and what fingers he's putting down, or more so, what buttons he is pushing on pitch comm. So yeah, Bobby got to grow up a little bit, as somebody else said in the chat as well. You got to get Bobby, if he's going to be a factor for this team and not just a body, not just a fill-in piece, he's got to put it all together. This is the year. Ramster, thank you very much, saying thanks for all you do. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to be appreciative of me, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, share the show if you would not mind. Again, we're at about 10,000 subscribers, a little bit over 10,500 now. It would be bitching if we can get to 15,000 somehow by domestic opening day. I'm setting the sights real high, but fingers crossed we can get there. Moving on, let's move on from Bobby a little bit here. I want to talk about the next big headline out of spring training today. That is, of course, Dustin May. It's more Dustin May talk for you here before next season starts. And Dave Roberts made a bold statement today about Dustin May. I say what we can do here. Let's just roll the clip, and then we'll get into breaking it down and sharing my thoughts about it. But here's Dave on D May.
With Dustin, it's been 5 years of major league service, essentially, that he's spent a lot of time not participating, and that's been a frustrating road. But he is 100% healthy right now. Yesterday he threw the ball extremely well, and he's had success at the big league level. I do feel that this year is going to be his best year. And I think there's a lot of excitement to be a full participant.
How do you keep Dustin May healthy?
That's a fair question. He looks really good physically. I think that we've tried to manage him as best we can. Certainly hasn't worked out. But I think right now where he's at, he's a competitor. He wants to be out there, and so just to continue to just be mindful that he's just come off surgery. But this guy has waited a long time to pitch in a big league game, and so you got to let him go out there and do it as well.
All right, a couple of things I'm taking away from that. Dave saying the right things, 100% healthy right now is Dustin May. Of course, he was very close to returning, to getting closer to return. At least he was close to getting closer to returning last year up until that torn esophagus. He has since opened up about more about that torn esophagus, and I'm seeing people in the chat saying you don't win friends with salad, as the Simpsons said. Yeah, piece of salad. And I talked about this on Dodgers Territory yesterday. $2 super chat from our friend Seth Klein. Thank you very much, Seth, saying D-May will kill if he stays away from salad. And guys, salad never pays off. Look at me. I avoid salad that's a lie. I actually really enjoy a good salad. But Dustin talked about all of the demons that were going through his head, after that injury, the frustrations, and that's what Dave kind of mentioning there too. It's been a frustrating road in trying to return for Dustin May, and I'll tell you this, Bob, hold on. Bill Plunkett. I was to say my friend. He's not my friend. I enjoy Bill Plunkett. He writes for the OC Register, Southern California News Group. Met him a few times. I think he's the best. He's one of those grumpy old dudes who covers his team, and he's wonderful about his grumpiness. Check it out. But Bill put together a great article, a great piece in the OC Register today about Dustin May and the injury and all of the things going on. I suggest everybody check that out. But I want to focus again back on what Dave said. The frustrations for Dustin May. He's 100% healthy right now. Matty Man 5 Dodge. Plunkett has no friends. God, that's good. You got me there. You got me. That is phenomenal. And getting back to what Dave said, what the quote was, I do feel, this was my big one. This is the bold statement. I do feel that this year is going to be his best year. The other thing I'll take away from the end, I would say, listen, we don't know if it's going to be his best year because he's had some really good years. The problem is he doesn't really stay on the mound for a year. He stays on the mound for about 2 months, and then he's just kind of, all right, something happened, I'm gone. But the other thing towards the end of what Dave said there, because he was asked about how do you keep him healthy, so this is a great question because clearly the Dodgers haven't been good at keeping him healthy. Dustin May hasn't been good at keeping himself healthy. My interpretation of what Dave said there at the end, he's waited a long time to pitch in a big league game, and you got to let him go out there and do it. The Dodgers are going to kind of let it eat with Dustin May this year. Take the sort of kitty gloves off because they haven't worked in terms of helping him stay on the field, helping him stay healthy. They're going to let it eat. They're going to try to be mindful, as Dave said, of the fact that he's coming off of surgery. And yeah, he's not going to go out there and start every 5th or 6th day. He might not even start. He might not get up to 100 innings. He's definitely not going to get to 150 or 200 innings. Not when I say let it eat, it's not that kind of letting it eat. But again, what Dave said, he's waited a long time to pitch in a big league game, and you've got to let him go out there and do it. To me, the way I wrote this one down in my notes, I'm like, it's a little bit of, if he dies mentality. And again, I understand it's a horrible thing to say after we're just talking about with the salad and all of the things. This is a dude who, if you listen to the or if you read what Dustin said about his injury and last year and all the dark places and really how it started with this injury from salad, make that shirt says hashtag or whatever, not hashtag, but put the little no salad, as I think we have a chat that said that in there. But he was told by ER text, like, hey, if you didn't come in, 4 more hours or something like that, things could have gotten very, very serious for you with that torn esophagus and things going on in there. So again, I understand it's a bad thing for me to say if he dies mentality, but it's kind of if it's grip it and rip it, and if it rips, all right, that's your career there. So I'm saying the Dodgers saying that or Dave kind of having that mentality, it's fair. It's let it eat. You got to just let it eat. And Seth Klein, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Seth. Says he can eat, just not salad. Sidetracking ourselves here from the point. Listen, with the focus this team has on baseball, the expectations, to me, this is honestly, and I've said to me a lot, I guess it's because it's just me today and us, no producer Kevin. So in my opinion, it's a do or die season for Dustin May as a pitcher, as a Los Angeles Dodger. Listen, 5 starts. 5 starts. I'm going to count it down here. 5 starts for the Dodgers in 2021. Just 6 starts for the Dodgers in 2022, coming off the elbow surgery. Then he had the back issues that caused a little bit of a delay there in September. Eventually bounced back. Would have been available in the postseason, but did not pitch for the team in 2022. 2023, just 9 starts for the Dodgers before the elbow and the forearm gave on him in July, end of June, whatever it was. And then 0 starts for the man in 2024 because of, as I wrote it down, elbow, salad that kept him out. This is certainly, in my opinion, the last opportunity Dustin May has with the Dodgers. But guys, that is the main stuff I wanted to talk about tonight. Again, more Dodgers talk coming up later. I'm going to be hanging out with Jeff Snyder on Locked On Dodgers. If you guys want to come over and hang out with us, 9 p.m. Pacific time. We'll talk a little bit more here on the chat, and then we'll get out of here. I see my buddy Tim Rogers in the chat. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Tim. Like I said earlier, guys, go check him out. Go subscribe to the channel. His channel, he just had a nice spring training conversation with Doom Sal, who has done great stuff with our friends at Bleed Los and all that. But what Tim said, Dustin's mechanics are rough. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of elbows and kneecaps, as Vin Scully might have said back in the olden times. And there's a reason he's nasty, but there's also a reason he's injury prone. And he's also just generally a kind of frail boy. I'm seeing my guy Corey saying it in the chat. D-May is filthy but fragile. I hope for his best, but I worry. And I think that's a really, really good mentality to have when you're talking about Dustin May. I hope the season, I hope he proves, it's not even detractors or haters wrong, because I don't think there's a single person that thinks Dustin May is a bad pitcher. They think that he is bad at staying healthy. That is about it. Appreciate Matty Man 5 Dodge saying great show. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me here on this Tuesday. Of course, during spring training, if there's enough headlines and there's things I like and things that I think are interesting, I'm gonna come on here live. I'm gonna. What do they say again for Yamamoto? He's gonna come back greater or whatever the hell it was. You get the point. I will be here. I will be live. The best way to know when I am live. I mention it. I'll always say it on Twitter. The X when I'm going to go live, so follow me there, Real FRG. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. It's a great way sometimes when YouTube actually tells people, notifies people that the show is live. But do check that out. With all that said, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the comments, hanging out in the chat, the engagement. Appreciate you fine folks. I appreciate the people who shared some super chats here on the show as well. You guys are awesome. I do want to thank our channel members, our Patreon supporters, for helping keep the lights on here at the show. Didn't mention it so far, but if you are looking for a different way to support the show, check out patreon.com/realfrg or click the join button here on YouTube. It's $5 a month to support the show, but with that you also get access to our Discord server. You pay the $5 a month. That's it. Do it once. Check it out. If you don't like it, you can cancel, and either way you're gonna meet some really, really cool fans in our Discord server, and we're talking Dodger baseball there all the time. It's a lot of fun. I promise you that. Shout out to our mods for doing a kick-ass job in the chat. If you guys did anything, because the chat is always already so great. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Go check out Bet Online. I again am Real FRG. Follow me on the social medias, all of them, and that's about it. We'll see you on the next one, and I'll see you tonight on Locked On Dodgers. Bye.